Hey there, welcome to my channel. I'm Colette Marie. Thank you so much for tuning in. If you are new, thank you for watching. And if you are returning, thank you for coming back. I pray you are having a wonderful day, an amazing week so far. So let's get into this word that the Lord gave to me on April the 13th during my 3 p.m. study time with him. He led me to Isaiah chapter 2. And so I'm actually going to read the full chapter, and if you have your Bible, please follow along with me. So let's get right into it. And I'm going to read this out of my NLT version. So it reads, "This is a vision that Isaiah, son of Amoz, saw concerning Judah and Jerusalem. In the last days, the mountain of the Lord's house will be the highest of all, the most important place on earth. It will be raised above the other hills, and people from all over the world will stream there to worship. People from many nations will come and say, 'Come, let us go up to the mountain of the Lord, to the house of Jacob's God. There he will teach us his ways, and we will walk in his paths. For the Lord's teaching will go out from Zion. His words will go out from Jerusalem. The Lord will meditate between nations and will settle international disputes. They will hammer their swords into plowshares and their spears into pruning hooks. Nation will no longer fight against nation, nor train for war anymore. Come, descendants of Jacob, let us walk in the light of the Lord. For the Lord has rejected his people, the descendants of Jacob, because they have filled their land with practices from the east and with sorcerers, as the Philistines do. They have made alliances with pagans. Israel is full of silver and gold. There is no end to its treasures. Their land is full of idols. The people worship things they have made with their own hands. So now they will be humbled, and all will be brought low. Do not forgive them. Crawl into caves in the rocks. Hide in the dust from the terror of the Lord and the glory of his majesty. Human pride will be brought down, and human arrogance will be humbled. Only the Lord will be exalted on the day of judgment. For the Lord of heaven's armies has a day of reckoning. He will punish the proud and mighty and bring down everything that is exalted. He will cut down the tall cedars of Lebanon and all the mighty oaks of Bashan. He will level all the high mountains and all the lofty hills. He will break down every high tower and every fortified wall. He will destroy all the great trading ships and every magnificent vessel. Human pride will be humbled, and human arrogance will be brought down. Only the Lord will be exalted on that day of judgment. Idols will completely disappear. When the Lord rises to shake the earth, his enemies will crawl into holes in the ground. They will hide in caves in the rocks from the terror of the Lord and the glory of his majesty. On that day of judgment, they will abandon the gold and silver idols they made for themselves to worship. They will leave their gods to the rodents and bats, while they crawl away into caverns and hide among the jagged rocks in the cliffs. They will try to escape the terror of the Lord and the glory of his majesty as he rises to shake the earth. Don't put your trust in mere humans. They are as frail as breath. What good are they?" All right, so the Lord highlighted to me verse 8, which says, "Their land is full of idols. The people worship things they have made with their own hands." And so I was reminded of the story of the golden calf, which is in Exodus chapter 32, which tells us how the Israelites grew impatient during Moses' 40-day absence on Mount Sinai. So they pressured Aaron to create an idol to lead them. Aaron fashioned a calf from melted gold, which the people worshiped as the God who brought them out of Egypt, resulting in God's divine anger, severe punishment, and eventually a plague. The first commandment says, "You shall have no other gods before me," which is the very law the Israelites broke. And this was directly violating the requirement of exclusive devotion to God. And so the Lord, he also highlighted to me verse 11 and verse 17, and they both actually say the same thing, and I'm going to read it again. It says, "Human pride will be brought down, and human arrogance will be humbled. Only the Lord will be exalted on the day of judgment." So whatever we've been putting before God, that is an idol. So the Lord led me to 2 scriptures to further add to this word about pride. And it's Proverbs chapter 16, verse 18, which reads, "Pride goeth before destruction, and a haughty spirit before a fall." And James chapter 4, verse 6 says, "God opposes the proud, but gives grace to the humble. So as I was reading this, I was wondering, what are some modern day examples of pride and the golden calf, idolatry? And so the first is the digital calf. Constant scrolling on apps like TikTok or Instagram can become a modern idol when used as a primary coping mechanism for boredom or waiting, replacing prayer and silence. Materialism and wealth. Finding ultimate security in money, cars, or homes when someone feels safe only because of their bank balance rather than God's providence, that wealth has become a calf. Success and identity. Defining worth strictly through a career title, academic degree, or likes and followers on social media. The universe and self-will. Modern practices like manifesting or praying to the universe often reflect the same impulse as the golden calf, trying to create a power that serves personal desires rather than submitting to God. We also have independent pride, which is self-sufficiency, living with an "I've got this" mindset that rarely seeks, or if ever seeks, God's guidance through prayer. We have comparative pride, which is measuring your worth by being better than others, whether it's having more righteous views, better gym results, or more successful children. Then we have defensive pride, an inability to admit fault or take correction from others, which often leads to broken relationships. Entitlement, feeling like you are owed certain comforts or successes and becoming bitter or ungrateful when life doesn't go your way. And also people-pleasing, fearing what others think more than what God thinks, which is often a form of self-preservation and self-worship. So these are just a few things. And no judgment here. This is just putting this out here for you to do your own self-examination, to look at your life and bring it back to God and ask him, well, what if I made an idol in my life? So what are some actions of humility that we can take daily? The first is starting the day with a simple prayer of surrender, asking for guidance before checking our phones, our emails, putting God first in the morning, serving and elevating others, actively serving the poor, elderly, and brokenhearted, or considering others' needs as more important than our own. Embracing hidden service, doing good works anonymously or performing tasks deemed below oneself without seeking recognition. Admitting wrongdoing, offering apologies without excuses and accepting correction or rebuke. Deflecting praise, giving God the credit for accomplishments and being content when others are recognized, ensuring Christ is magnified instead of self. Disciplines of humility, fasting, prayer, particularly confession, and regular attendance at worship, which cultivates a sense of reliance on God. Submitting to circumstances, trusting God during trials rather than complaining about circumstances, and accepting God's sovereignty. And then active listening, taking time to listen to others, such as a spouse or children, as a way to value them. And so these are some things that we can actively put in place every single day. And I have a few scriptures here for guidance and encouragement for practicing humility. Philippians chapter 2, verse 3-4 says, "Do nothing out of selfish ambition or vain conceit. Rather, in humility, value others above yourselves, not looking to your own interests, but each of you to the interests of the others." James chapter 4, verse 10 says, "Humble yourselves before the Lord, and he will exalt you." Micah chapter 6, verse 8 says, "He has shown you, O mortal, what is good, and what does the Lord require of you? To act justly, and to love mercy, and to walk humbly with your God." Proverbs chapter 11, verse 2 says, "When pride comes, then comes disgrace, but with humility comes wisdom." Romans chapter 12, verse 3, "For by the grace given me, I say to every one of you, do not think of yourself more highly than you ought, but rather think of yourself with sober judgment in accordance with the faith God has distributed to each of you." So that is the word. I pray that it blessed you and encouraged you and open up your eyes to a few things. Remember to take every word back to the Lord for further revelation and insight. Please comment, like, share, and subscribe, and turn on your notification bell so you won't miss any of my uploads. And I will be back when the Father releases me. Take care and be blessed.